let's have a solo. Of all the questions in my life, this one does vex me so. I need the answers so that I can get on with the show. And so I hope you'll tell me, 'cause I really need to know. The calendar remains unchecked. Is it FAWM yet?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Sunday the 29th of November. No, it isn't FAWM yet. It's 64 days until the 1st of February, when the songwriting challenge that we know as FAWM starts again. You has just asked, do you have to do an updated intro video in the new studio like they do in a TV studio when they change cast members? Or Babylon 5. I should really write a new theme tune every year. In fact, why don't I do that? So that'll be my Christmas project. I'll write a new theme tune and shoot a new video in the new studio. Good evening, Riako Music. Hello, Mel. How are you? How's David doing? Array of Emotions has knackered himself. Hello, Array of Emotions. Funny old week, really. Funny old week. I've left me notes downstairs. That's a good start, isn't it? I'll do this from memory. Which will probably mean that it'll be a shorter show than normal. And as it's Cyber Monday tomorrow, I'm sure you're all itching to get your fingers on the bargains. But there are bargains to be had this evening. I will be doing the rounds of my favourite plugin sites and talking about a few things that I've discovered. I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook and elsewhere about the Black Friday Waves plugin. One of the Chris Lord-Alge vocal processing slap and reverb plugins was free on Black Friday if you signed up to Waves's mailing list. So me being me, not going to pass down a free plugin. I signed up for a mailing list I'm already on and downloaded my free plugin. I told Wobby about it, and I don't think I'm in her good books because she didn't just stop at the free plugin. But let's go over there because there are bargains to be had. Look at that. You get 60% off. Riako Music says, thanks for the heads up on that plugin, because Mel actually did avail herself of the bargain on Friday. Yeah, 60% off. Their usual rate is 40% off. If they're not offering 40% off on their website for a plugin you fancy, just give it a week and it will eventually be 40% off. But 60% off is pretty darn good. And Array of Emotion says, I'm upright. Riako Music says, doing fine, but so tired. Yanuera says, oh yeah, so many free Waveses. I have, over the years, actually built up by upgrading from one step to another, which is what I do. I never plump for the big dollar expenditure straight away. I always upgrade. And you'll see exactly why I upgrade in a few minutes. But there are some great plugins in there, and I mean, I haven't got the Abbey Road plugins, but the Abbey Road mastering chain for $29, that sounds like a pretty darn good deal to me. So I've got the Chris Lord-Alge plugins, and that's it. However, on Thursday's stream, Richard, also known as Atitlan66, was extolling the virtues of iZotope's Iris 2 synthesizer. And I got an email on Friday, Black Friday, which said, try our holiday bundle. So I went over to the iZotope holiday bundle page. It's still on sale. $49 gets you RX elements for RX9. I haven't got RX9. Ozone elements, neutron elements, nectar elements, trash 2. Lo and behold, Iris 2. Plus 3 exponential audio plugins. Phoenix Verb R2, which is R4's little brother, and Excalibur, which is a sort of modulation, phasey, what have you type plugin. So for a while I was thinking, well, why would I spend that if I've already got Trash 2 and I've already got Nectar and Neutron and blah 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 blah. And then I realized that I can buy the bundle and use Iris 2 and the exponential reverbs up here. But if I install the iZotope product assistant, the duplicates of the things I've already got, I can use on my video editing computer. So it's like, right, yeah, have that. And I spent Friday evening downloading the substantial sample libraries that come with Trash 2, and we'll come onto it in more detail in a minute, but I'll just give you a quick sort of look at the interface if you're not familiar with Trash 2. It kind of uses the RX audio processing engine, which is kind of interesting. RX is iZotope's sonic cleanup and sort of spectral frequency manipulator and everything else. You can, on this window, which on this particular sample it doesn't use it, but you get a spectrogram and you can paint on the spectrogram to tell Iris 2, is that going to fire up? Yes, it is. That tells Iris 2 what part of the spectrogram you're going to use. Let's get rid of the wave table. So you see I've got a series of paint tools there, and I can effectively draw on the interface, which is really, really kind of interesting. And I really like the sounds. I'm still getting to grips with it. And as I said on my blog this morning, I was sitting in here on Saturday morning just listening to a brilliant podcast. And bear with me a second. And I shall just go to my blog and call up the link. So my blog, in case you didn't know it, Chris Harris's blog, it's headfirst.www.idnet.com/blog.htm. Yeah, Brian Koppelman has a glorious podcast called The Moment. And this interview that you can see here at the moment, highly recommend listening to if you're into creativity and songwriting and managing being in a band, managing being in one of the most successful prog rock bands that has ever been, and discussing the impact that your music can unknowingly have on other people. Geddy actually says he wells up when he hears about some of the experiences that Rush's music have got people through. It's a beautiful interview. It's well over an hour, and I totally recommend you giving it a listen. Brian interviews all sorts of interesting people: Seth Godin, Elvis Costello, Brett James, Amanda Shires, Bob Mould, Suzanne Vega. There are page after page of John Grisham. Yeah, check it out. So while I was doing that, I was noodling about on the push and came up with a nice little nice little motif. And for those of you who were around yesterday, I actually did something unusual, which is what the blog is talking about. I did an impromptu stream yesterday. I'm not going to be uploading the impromptu ones to YouTube because I kind of want people to drive people through to my Twitch platform rather than getting it off the blog or finding it on YouTube, because am I ever going to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube? Questionably, highly unlikely. Whereas I've now got 31 followers on Twitch. And hello to Joe Kilio, who followed me yesterday after stumbling across my stream yesterday. If I can get one new follower for every stream that I do, I'll be a very, very happy man. So French Doge, yesterday we were chatting while he was playing Mass Effect Andromeda on his stream, and he said he really enjoyed watching me doing what I do rather than what I tend to have done on these streams, which is talking about what I've done. So I think I'm probably gonna stream randomly and just noodle around in the studio with my synths and gear and guitars and bass, and people really do seem to respond to nice guitar tones. And my run through of the Moore Ocean Machine pedal, and Moore, I still haven't heard anything from you, and my Ocean Machine is still dead. That's still got more views than anything else on my YouTube channel because it makes an impression. So yeah, I'm gonna be streaming, doing what I do rather than talking about what I do on times other than Thursday night and Saturday night. And that's kind of what the blog says. So you don't have to read the blog now, but it would be nice if you went over to the blog. The links are in my credits at the end of the show. So yeah, we've seen the audio plugins from Waves. We've also seen the iZotope holiday bundle, which I'm very pleased with, and I'm becoming a huge Exponential fanboy. They've been bought by iZotope, although the install process is a little bit more convoluted because you have to download the plugins from the iZotope site, and then you have to install the iLock license manager software, and then yeah, Ryako Music says, damn it, they haven't emailed you at all. That's so shite. Yeah, it is. I'm really annoyed. But we'll soldier on. I've got more than enough to keep me occupied, because not only did I buy the iZotope holiday bundle on Black Friday, I keep on getting emails from these guys, Spitfire Audio, and they're having a big Black Weekend sale. If you spend more than 299 quid, which is rather a lot, although Albion 1 is only 299 quid at the moment. Yes, you get Aperture, which is the black edition of Aperture, which is only available during the Black Weekend, which starts with a string quartet and slides up to a complete massive orchestral sample section. So you've got to pay 299 quid over the weekend and you get Aperture for free. But that was a little bit more than I was kind of planning on spending. Ryako Music says, I want to buy all the things, but I need to get a new computer first. Yeah, new computer, definitely priority for you. As you see on here, though, when I got my email from Spitfire, because I've been a customer now for a while, it said, go and have a look at your price for the symphony orchestra. Because you remember BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover, you fill out a questionnaire. 2 weeks later, they enable your Spitfire Audio app to download and install this BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover package plugin on your DAW of choice. And it's a fantastic introduction to being able to do orchestral arrangements. And quite frankly, it has changed my entire musical operation. Every aspect of it has changed as a result of installing that free BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover package. And I've bought a couple of the 29 originals, €29/£29 original packages. And as you may remember, I did buy Abbey Road one, but when I clicked on this, because you see it says £239 there, it's like, can't really spend another nearly £250 on yet another plugin. But when I clicked on it, it says, oh, your price is £190. It's like, oh, damn. So guess what 25 gigabyte package I downloaded this afternoon. And I was gobsmacked because the whole thing downloaded in 2 hours. When you think when I bought Abbey Road 1, I had to leave it overnight. But the whole of Abbey Road, the whole of BBC Symphony Core downloaded in just over 2 hours. And that was about an hour ago. So I haven't really played with it, but I've opened it up and I have used it for one thing, just one thing only, on the piece of music that I was putting together yesterday. So yesterday I did me stream and captioned it with As It Happens, composing using Ableton Live, and people swung by, and Mel swung by, and French Doge swung by, and he's playing games with his nephews today, so he can't join us. But I really, going back to listening to the Rush podcast, I was just sitting here, Rush podcast on one screen, manual for Iris 2 on the other. I was just plonking about, playing the sample I was using, which is, it says block sign. So with a bit of delay on it, it sounded glorious. And I ended up with a little motif. And the motif was this. So I was saying on the blog, I've been thinking about this because I do overthink things. You know me, overthink things. So when I get a new synth, it's quite often the individual patches and timbres of a patch that inspire me, because it's not so much learning to play the instrument or operate the plugin as it is about learning to play the sounds that it makes. And that was my stunning insight for this weekend, was that it's not just about learning to play an instrument. It's about learning, when you're a songwriter or a composer or you perform in a band, it's about learning to get the sounds that you want, or if you've got a sound that you want, learning what to do with it. And that simple motif with that one patch, I was just off and running on Saturday morning. So turned all the cameras on and streamed what I did next for about an hour and 3/4, I think. As I say, I won't be putting the stream on YouTube, but there's a link to the video on my blog, there. If you just go to the video section on my Twitch homepage, you can find it there as well. But since yesterday, I've tweaked it quite a bit, and I've got rid of the L1 Ultra Maximizer on the mastering bus and tweaked it and done the whole ozone deal to get things the way I wanted. So this at the moment is called disequilibrium. Could change, but see what you think it sounds like. Yeah, so apart from the fact that I set the loop brace to run and hadn't switched it off before playing that, which I thought I had, that is currently called Disequilibrium. Ryako Music says, I like that harp bit. Well done, Mel. You spotted the entire single occurrence of me using BBC Symphony Orchestra core so far. It's purely the harp on SO core. I love the fact with it, can you see it says mode at the top there? You can actually just switch it and it just turns it back into Discover. And if you send somebody the stems, the MIDI and everything else, and the person that you send the MIDI track to has only got Discover, it will downshift in terms of the number of articulations and round robins and everything else it's got in a really clever way, so that you still get a basic idea of what the arrangement should sound like, which I think is brilliant. But as you can see on the, compared to if I switch to Discover and we look at the harp, you get harp gliss, and that's it. Okay, so you guys have got Discover, you know what that's like. Go to Core, and gliss is a bit different. It does the glissando for you at the push of a button. How cool is that? So it's like, ho, 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 ho. I have to use that, I thought, and I did, and it works. And Mel liked it, so I win with that one. So Yanoera says the bass sound is incredible, so massive. How do you get that sharp buzz? Well, there's a lot of layers. Is probably the main answer to that. The fundamental bass and the funky bit. That's kind of just the way I play. I was actually playing with the pick, and strangely enough, the rig down here is still set up to play it using one of Lemmy's old picks. So that's the acoustic, well, electric strings version of the bass line, he said, kicking over various things. Bear with me a second. However, the sound does not stop with the bass guitar. So I then dropped in a deep bass sample on Iris 2, and it's got a lovely twang to the beginning of it. So what Iris 2 is doing it's all about the layering. The Abbey Road 1 Orchestra And I think if there's one thing that I've really leveled up with this year, I'm moving beyond what I used to do, which is like, okay, I'll have a guitar and a bass and a synthesizer and that'll be it. And with synthesizers in particular, it's become my sort of signature sound, I guess, in that there will be an awful lot of layering going on. So back in the day, when I started doing FAWM, I'd do like one synth track on any of the pieces of music that I recorded. And how many are there on this now? There are 13 tracks of synthesizer on this of one sort or another. And then 2 sets of bass. Still not sure about the guitar Array of Emotions. Array of Emotions watched me shred. And I listened to it this morning and went, oh dear. So I've kind of done it again and made it a lot sparser to let the piano section breathe. But I'm not entirely sure it's there yet. It may just need dropping down in the mix. Because if I drop it, in fact, let's drop it another couple of dB and then just play that bit and see if it works a bit better. It's interesting. It sounds far fizzier than it did when I recorded it. So if I solo an individual guitar chord track, it doesn't sound that fizzy. It does sound that fizzy. All right, so that's got the vocal doubler on it from iZotope. If I take that off, does that make a difference? Yeah, there's some weird thing, because, I mean, if I play you the actual, he said, stomping on his effects boxes. See, I don't know about you, but to me this sounds completely different, and this is how it was going into the mixer. So there's a lot lower mids in it that Neutron seems to have gutted. Completely different tone. And so just for comparison, here's the same guitar, same setup as it's being played in. All right, there's a bit of reverb, but we can turn the reverb up. Well, if I turn Neutron off as well, what does that do? Let's turn it all off. Get rid of all the effects. There's still more of a clang on that than there was when I recorded it. I have no idea what's going on there. How weird, says Ryako Music. My thoughts entirely. That's one that's, I think, going to occupy my brain for the next couple of days. Because I kind of want that much more mellow, much more brown sound in the guitar than I'm getting, even though that's kind of what I was putting into Ableton in the first place. Who knows? I checks mixer to see that the mixer hasn't got any EQ imposed on it. No. And even if it did, when I play the guitar, I'm hearing what I'm playing through the Rocket monitors I've got in here. So it kind of should be excuse me. It kind of should be the same as what's going into Ableton, but very, very strange. That's 2 streams in a row where I've ended up sneezing. Oh dear. It was -5 here on Friday night, and yeah, I know Juha lives in Finland where -5 is a pleasant summer's day, but over here it's like, good God, that was cold last night. And I think I'm getting a winter cold, shall we say. I was reading something on the internet today. I'm headfirst only on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, then, or if you do follow me on Twitter, you should have seen this already. The scented candle company the scented candle business has taken a nosedive during the pandemic. Why? Because one of the first symptoms of COVID-19 is a very, very diminished sense of smell. And somebody had commented on this and had actually got metrics on sales of scented candles plotted against numbers of COVID cases in different countries, and it was quite astonishing. But Yankee Candle are now getting absolutely torrents of 1 and 2 star reviews of their products from people who, in their review, go on to admit that they've got COVID and they'd bought the candles to cheer themselves up. It's just not joining the dots. -5, says Januarius. Should I bring the grill out? Mine's still out. I should really put it away, actually. But there are things going on with that guitar chain, and I am not sure what it is. I do have an awful lot of guitar effects on the floor here, so if I switch to tripod cam, I can show you the rat's nest under the desk. It might look nice and neat and tidy and organised up here, but that is not the case down here, as you will see. That's me current guitar effects set up with the GR55 out of the way. Now, I use that Dr. Tone thing, which is the thing at the top of the picture that's lit up in blue, for distributing power, because that lot would eat batteries in about an hour flat, and that's not good. And I have a feeling that sometimes the Dr. Tone power supply doesn't really pull its weight, and sometimes I can switch the effects off and then switch them back on again. This sounds familiar, and they'll sound completely different. So I don't know. I'll do some research this week, because science. And that's kind of where I am so far this weekend. Bit tired, bit sniffly, bit sneezy, but I will be leaving the geometry of sleep again for another day or so, just to get my ears out of the way, and then I'll mix and master it. And Ryako Music says same. It's everybody's just a bit bleh at the moment, and everybody's round here at least has just gone, I'm fed up, I'm going to put the Christmas tree lights on. So next door have already got all their outside lights up. Most of the village, or most of the streets in the village, have at least one house, if not half a dozen, with outdoor Christmas lights up already, and it's still November because everybody's just... And yeah, it's just this miserable year. Whereas as we put some indoor Christmas lights up, yeah, Mel and David went Christmas tree shopping yesterday and got a real tree, which I'm very jealous of. And apparently their cat, Mr. Pickles, really likes it. The only trouble is I have this abiding memory from being a small child and my parents buying real Christmas trees, and just every year the house just stank of cat pee. I've no idea where they got them from, but real Christmas trees to me and cats are very, very closely related. So I've had the same artificial tree that I use that I've had for at least a decade. So it's been environmentally quite friendly in terms of the reuse and impacting on the environment and everything like that. And you know what? I may just follow the herd and put my decorations up this week. Reco Music says, mine was grown in a pot. Now that's the way to do it. I know Rob next door one year had a lovely spruce tree for Christmas, and he just planted it in the front garden, and it's twice the size now, and it's absolutely lovely. And he still puts lights on it. It's just outside now. So that's rather nice. Yanawera says, I'll kick the bucket first. Yeah, put the tree in a bucket. It's a good way of stabilising them, more than the stands or the flimsy coat hanger affairs that you used to get on trees. And yes, I'm old enough to remember the tradition at Christmas of the current Blue Peter presenters making their Advent candles, which was effectively two coat hangers at right angles wrapped in tinsel with a candle holder on each apex. Never forget that. Advent crown. Those were the ones. That's it. That's what they called it. I remember those. And there was the Advent crown, and the local street market, which I guess won't be happening, Christmas market in Bristol, had a large wooden hut that was designed to look like one of those. You remember the ones with a turbine and 4 candles, that the heat from the candles drove the turbine, and there'd be 4 little angels holding sticks and bells, and as the turbine spun round from the heat from the candles, the angels hit the bells. Well, there's the Christmas market in Bristol. They have a 40-foot high version of that, and it's scary. It's interesting. If I take a step back for a couple of days, I can hear nuances in music that would elude me if I was just doing it every day. And you've only got one set of ears, kids. I started wearing earplugs at gigs in the 80s after going and seeing Motorhead and Saxon on the Bomber Tour, and my ears rang for 6 days afterwards, and I always thought, that's not good. And, all friends at the time were going, oh, no, I fall asleep with my head in the bass bin. Guess what? They're all deaf now. And a lot of them have got tinnitus, which is not nice. And touch wood, I can still hear a certain degree of stuff, but I have to let my ears rest to get the full frequency range of what I've got left. So, as Yanawera says, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Exactly so. Let's call it a night. It's December on Tuesday. I do not know where this year has gone, and lockdown comes to a close on Tuesday, and on Wednesday we just go into tier 3. And as I explained on Thursday's show, it's pretty serious over here. It's pretty serious everywhere. If somebody's telling you it's not, then they're either lying or they're not very well informed. So wherever you are, wear a damn mask. But I'll be back on Thursday with my normal Headfirst Only television show. And until then, stay well, stay safe, and above all else, stay sane. And I'll see you on Thursday.